Welcome to the Carpool Honcho again.
Yep.
And in the car this week we have the legend, the one and only
Dean Payne from the Crate Flexible
forgot
Office
your own
Space.
name.
I thought we were going to talk about a guest, but
I was waiting
you're
for it.
right, you're right.
And Rory from Naked Marketing, and our lovely Carpool Honcho guest today is Kirsty Ballot from Caw Video. Hello, Kirsty.
Hello,
Hey,
Kirsty.
hey guys.
So good to have you with
Yeah,
us.
thank you. Thanks for having me.
And you're a bit of a local shore-based
Yes.
business chick.
Yes. We are in Forest Hill on the shore, and we are a video production company.
Yay.
So it's just the two of us, and we tend to work with companies across New Zealand. We've got a few people internationally as well, and we create video content.
Wow.
Who's the two of us? Sorry.
My husband and I.
Business partner,
Yes,
life partner.
business partner. So video content for web and social. So we know
Awesome.
how important that is at the moment to stay in front of our audience and all that. So yeah, video production.
Caw Video, CAW video.co.nz.
Yeah, that's it.
And you're a mummy
I am a mummy.
of?
Two young ones. My daughter's 1 and my son is 4. Millie and
Very
Jessie.
awesome.
Millie and Jessie. Very
Yeah,
cool.
so busy.
Yay.
Busy.
Well, we're going to have an absolute ball in the car with you today. But before we
Yeah.
go any further, we want to give a big shout out and thanks to our sponsors.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Today's podcast is driven by our friends at Albany Toyota.
And we are fed by our mates at Sal's Pizza.
And our tunes are brought to you from The Sound Store. Awesome. We absolutely love Sal's Pizza.
And tonight, you and your lovely family and the
Yes.
1-year-old
Yeah.
are allowed to have some big pizzas from Sal's. There we go.
Awesome, thank you.
Now, I hear you're a bit of a Sal's fan.
Yes, I am. I do love Sal's.
Favourite flavour?
Margarita with basil leaves is fantastic. Yeah.
Did you hear that, Andy and Nick? We have someone here that loves the margarita. Actually, you know what? I don't know if it's actually out yet. Can't say too much, but there's some new flavours coming.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's going to be a
Don't know
good
if I'm
Might
gonna
have
get
to edit
fired.
that one.
I might literally get fired for that, but I know it's happening.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, my son was talking to one of the owners, and he was actually telling him the new flavour. He's got a little bit of inside scoop, you know? Mate,
Can't wait.
Andy, talk to me, mate. Anyway, we love Sal's, and a big shout out to those guys for the support of this awesome podcast,
Thank you so
Thank
much.
the
you.
Carpool Honcho.
Yep.
But we are on this amazing series of rest, relaxation, and recharge.
Indeed.
And, primarily we'd like to be speaking to our business people out there. And, what a topic.
It is.
It's something that I think we all, at times we might get under control, and then we kind of lose control, and then
Yeah.
we get back in control.
Yeah.
It's a continuous battle.
Yeah, I was talking to someone this morning, and they actually was just reminding me that most people kind of flip in and out of 2 different modes. That's that fight or flight, or rest and refuge. And you kind of flicking into one or the other. And when you're in fight or flight, you're normally kind of trying to play catch up.
Yeah.
You're sort of trying
Stress response.
You're bailing water out of the boat. Like, you're doing everything you can just to keep everything going.
Yeah.
But you can't maintain that for too long,
No.
right? You've got to be able to get a bit of this
Recharge.
RRR in.
Indeed.
So we would love to hear a little bit from you as a mum, an amazing mum, businesswoman, how you managed to cope, because who knows, we know the kids, right? It's just on a whole nother scale.
Superwoman.
It is on a whole nother scale. Yeah, it's just so important, especially post-pandemic, where, your body is in that stress feeling, and it's hard to navigate it sometimes. And so I made the decision, it was pretty much just at the back end, I think, of last year's lockdown, that I needed to start carving out some time for myself. And I was wondering, how do I do this when you're raising young kids and you are trying to run a business. And once you start work, it's very hard to get away, to go take a 40-minute for the gym, whatever. I mean, it's doable, but I just found that what worked for me was starting my day before my family did. And that was setting my alarm to get up about 45 minutes, ideally, earlier than the rest of them, which was really tough. But that's what I did, and I felt that, it would bring me time, and where I'm not having to serve other people and attend to other people's needs. I can just do my own thing for myself, and whatever that looks like for the day.
And we're all worth it, right? I mean, we've got to say to ourselves, we deserve it. Because life as parents and business owners, it's just a whirlwind, eh?
Yeah.
Dean and myself were talking to our can we call Greg Menendez our mental health coach?
Why not?
Good on you, Greg. We had a great session with you last night, mate. But basically, I was also saying, we have to get up in the mornings. We have to just take that time before we actually get into work, because it just sets you up for the day.
Yeah.
If you start off with a freaking whirlwind of a morning, you're going to have that sort of day, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just shapes your mindset.
But I have to say, if you don't mind me interrupting, that I think for mums or parents, who the main parent figure,
Yeah.
it's a whole nother level, and you've got like a 1 and a 4-year-old, right? It's just manic. I say to all the people, I've got 4 children, but the youngest is 14 now, the oldest is 21.
Oh,
so I say to everyone,
amazing.
it gets better. It does get easier.
Thank you.
My third one,
Thanks.
number 3 has just got her license, 16.
Oh,
So we've only got taxi for 1 left,
Amazing.
So everything does get a little bit easier, everybody. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, but come on, I have to say that you and Maria have done an awesome job with your kids.
Wow.
You've got lovely kids. You really do.
They are lovely.
Yeah, they're lovely.
That's awesome.
So I just want to really give you a whole lot of kudos. We've got another lady, Anna, who's in our fitness challenge at the moment, and she's doing the same thing, trying to find time to fit in a bit of fitness and a bit of me time. And I went up to her just yesterday, Roro, and I gave her a big hug, and I said, Anna, I just want to just honour you as a mum, because I know how hard it is. We're all kind of going for it and finding this extra time to go to the gym or, do stuff that's healthy and stuff, and she's trying to fit it in around little baby kids like you are.
Oh, absolutely.
How do you do it?
I know.
It's not that easy.
The life of a devoted parent is not easy.
No.
And a devoted, just wanting to do better for yourself and your family through business and parenting and
So this one thing that you've done, this adjustment happened mid our 2 years of lockdowns, where you turned around and said, I need to get at least 45 minutes a day to myself, some me time, some selfish time, some time that I get to just chill and spend on me, right? That's your one thing, and it made a big difference.
Yes, it did. And it's a learning curve, because when I wake up, the first thing I want to do is unpack a dishwasher and prep bottles and, prepare school bags. It was unlearning that behavior.
That maternal instinct.
Absolutely.
I told you mothers have superpowers. I never think to wake up and do the dishwasher.
Yep.
Sorry, babe.
You're lazy though.
I have 4 dishwashers. They're called my children.
Amazing.
Okay. So we've got the one thing.
Yeah, so a huge adjustment. And it took about 3 weeks for me to get my internal body clock going, which made it a little bit easier. It was summer at the time. It is certainly harder in winter, but it's almost like I'm up now. And once that mind starts working, you can't rest it.
Yeah. So Kirsty, tell us, we want to dig a little bit deeper. We want to know why you actually started doing this. Is there anything else in your life that actually you were into, some sort of bad routine? And tell us what the core reason is you actually started doing this.
Yeah, so it was just, I felt like it was reaching a point where I never had time for me. And as selfish as it is, obviously that mental health topic and self-care is, it's like a buzzword, but how do people really start to implement it? And it was getting to a point where, because I choose to co-sleep, that I didn't even have 5 minutes before bed with a nightlight on, because it was straight into it, So I thought to myself, well, this is the really only realistic thing that I can do, and that will help me. And it was being a parent is very challenging, as we've said, and everything is about them, and sometimes you do feel burnt out, and sometimes people don't want to admit that. I was on mat leave, so they they were my world. I wasn't involved with my husband's business at the time, or my business, should I say. So I had no break from it, and it was just becoming a bit much. And I thought, well, what could I do right now that's going to give me some positive change?
Nice.
And that was it. And obviously fitting in my 20 minutes of walking in the day as well.
Very cool.
Is my thing.
Here's a real silver lining to COVID, guys, is the fact that we can all talk about mental health in the open. And I think it was before COVID, it was quite taboo. People weren't really speaking about it.
Absolutely.
But I think that people have actually put that aside and we're actually okay with speaking about mental health and looking after that mental health. I think is really key. So it's really good that we can have these conversations.
Well, and actually being a little bit acceptable, being more acceptable to be that selfish, like it's the whole thing of putting your mask on first, right? And making sure that you're oxygenated in order to be able to help other people.
Others, fill your bucket before you can obviously fill others.
I love that.
And that's what you're doing by just stealing that.
It is.
Owning that. Should we say owning that? You own it.
Yeah.
45 minutes before anybody else gets up in the house.
I know, and if you think about it, it's so silly and so small, but it's so impactful and meaningful to me.
Yeah.
And everyone will find their own thing that works for them.
That's so cool.
But yeah, for me, it's been a game changer.
All right, what are those game changer things? What are the things that have turned around and now really helping you to fizz and live your best life because you're doing this one little thing?
Yeah, so, having that time, I can make my coffee by myself. I don't need little hands to help. I can watch the news, I can browse my phone, I can colour in, which I do adult colouring in.
Cool.
I can have conversations with my loved ones who are heading to bed before they head to bed, because obviously I'm South African and a lot of my loved ones are in the UK. Just using that time to have uninterrupted conversations, catching up with things, focusing on what I want to do. Sometimes I just sit in silence because it's wonderful until I hear little voices and pitter patters on the floor of little feet and all that, which is lovely.
Beautiful.
And it makes me excited for that.
So tell us about adult colouring in. Is it because you're an adult colouring in, or is it because it's you colouring in adult content? I'm confused.
No, it's definitely just myself colouring in. So it's actually so, again, and I shouldn't belittle it, but it's silly, but it's mine, and it's on the iPad, and you get templates, or you can do it yourself, and it's draw things. I know I love art. I did art a lot when I was younger, pre-kids. So it's just you just
total
switch off.
Brain relax.
Yeah, totally. You're not thinking, because you're thinking about what you're creating.
I was colouring in a little kiddies colouring in picture the other day. It was really good and really relaxing.
Yeah, well, I do that all the time.
That's what you do most days, isn't it? When I go past your desk, great.
Don't disrupt the driver. He's so childish. That's so awesome. So what we like to do as well is just dig into your brain and try and figure out some nuggets for Dean and myself, and also our audience, and how we can actually put this into our daily lives and actually make it a routine and not just a once-off thing. So how would you suggest that we do that?
So the first thing is practically set an alarm.
Or two.
Yeah, or two. And if it means you're hitting the snooze button a couple of times, just go easy on yourself. It gets better. And then, so that's obviously practically and physically, but then mentally, just once you start to see the impacts that it can make for yourself, it becomes easier, and your mind, you look forward to that time, so it does get easier. And your family also starts to respect it as well, they allow you to, maybe they hang around, or my husband generally tries to keep Jessie in the room. I can hear them awake, but they won't come through immediately, so it gets better.
When you started this, did you sort of inform your husband that, hey, I'm going to start doing this, and it is my time? Like, did you kind of set some boundaries?
Yeah,
just
so
that people kind of understood and respected it?
Yeah, I mean, I do follow quite a few people who do the same thing on Instagram, all the mom communities and all that. And there's a couple of people, and it's actually called the 5 a.m. club, but I cannot do 5 a.m. I have to do with what works for me and my schedule. So I did the kind of 5:30 after a couple snoozes, 5:45.
Yeah.
And yeah, so, and you just kind of know that you're not alone in this as well. There's other people who are doing the same thing and seeing the results as well. But yeah, there's content out there on social media about the 5 a.m. club and the benefits of it and all that. Yeah.
And who wouldn't want to see a beautiful sunrise every morning? I mean, I look at that sunrise and I'm just like, wow.
I know. Well, the sun isn't rising at that time at the moment. I can tell you that.
Are you naturally a morning person or a night person?
So I'm actually not. I was not a morning person at all pre-kids, but your life does a 360 and you're forced into this.
You're not anything now? You're just a complete mess.
Yeah, totally. Just trying to see my way through it.
Yeah, sleep whenever you can.
Yeah. But no, I was a super selfish sleeper prior to kids. I think to some degree everyone is, and that's the biggest adjustment, I think.
Yeah.
What are you, Dina? Are you a morning or
I actually
night owl?
I'm actually doing a audio book at the moment on sleep, and they disagree that they think it's DNA. But I actually, prior to reading the book, would go, it's actually just habits.
Okay.
Because I would say I naturally am a night person, hard to get in the morning, but not right now. But I have had seasons in my life where I have changed that, and I'm definitely a morning person. If you get up early and you do exercise, you're naturally more tired at night.
Yeah.
So then you naturally get to bed a little bit earlier. You get a deeper sleep, a more thorough, more deeper sleep, and so you wake up fresher. And if you can almost begin to change the tide of that whole habit, it does work.
Yeah.
And the early bird catches
the worm.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, the going to bed at a reasonable hour is probably the most important thing to make this work. Because if your sleep routine and your bedtime is all over the place, it's not going to work for you. Because you obviously, everyone knows that sleep is so important.
So in a small business, how do you manage the fact that you've got that, you're in charge of sales too, right? And that kind of stuff. So that one more proposal that's got to get out. You promise the customer will be done today and get to bed early, because that's the challenge. That's where the rubber hits the road.
Absolutely. I guess it's about riding the wave. With owning your own business, there's peaks and troughs. And when that wave is high and it's going really well, you've just got to ride it. And maybe you make sacrifices in other areas. I'm such a early to bed type of person though. So, 8 o'clock is really when I need to start switching off altogether. Devices and
so if I want a quote from you, I email you after 8 o'clock. It's going to be half the price. You're like, whatever, I got bed. No.
No.
That's so cool. Hey, well, it's been awesome to have you in the car.
Thank you.
Amazing chat, right?
Just one thing before we cut off here. Tell us about Caw Video. What sort of clients are you looking for, and what sort of work do you love doing?
Yeah, so our I guess I wouldn't say it's a niche, but our real specialty is content for social media.
Cool.
And I guess web as well. But that can, if you're doing video for web, you can really repurpose that and make it great for social. And it's across all sectors. We do a lot of work in agriculture and products and brands. So it's all over the show. We're not all over the show, but our work is.
That's why you're in business, right? You got companies out there all over the show, can't get their show together. Yeah. But you do.
Yes.
Caw Video.
Absolutely.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, thanks,
Sounds like you guys really love what you do.
Yeah, we do.
And of course, by looking at your website, the work is absolute quality.
Thank you.
So get a hold of Kirsty and Grant from cawvideo.co.nz.
Yep.
Yeah.
And get your video marketing happening.
Done.
That's
Deal.
Thank you.
All right, till next time.
Thanks for
See
having
you guys
us.
later. Be good.
Bye.